Hi there, this is Art and Such with my Rainbow Loom tutorial for Dr. Facilier from The Princess and the Frog, and I hope I'm saying that right. It's been a while since I saw the movie. This is an advanced level tutorial. I'll try and give you some options and hints along the way, but we will be doing some of this off loom and by hook, and we will be doing putting some extensions on. We're going to have a lot of doubled over bands, and I'm going to be doing one arm and leg with you and having you pause for the other two. I'll also make note, I've kind of cheated here. I've put a couple of paper clip wires in at the back of the legs, you can see. This helps keep them a little stiffer and more malleable. So you can use wire if you want your legs to be easier to pose, and same for the arms. For the rest of the figure, I've used a dark shade of purple, a light kind of maroon shade of purple, purpley pink. We have a little bit of white. We have some black bands, and this is red here and here, but you can probably get away with a kind of a pink. For the skin, I would suggest more of a tan. I'm going to use a lighter skin tone here, but it's really up to you. For the eyes, you can use bands or beads. I'm going to use a couple of little pearl beads, and the pupils are drawn on using a Sharpie marker. I've also added kind of a makeshift skull here. If you like it, I can show you how to do this using a pearl bead and a couple of white bands to cross through. They're just woven and C-clipped. And for the nose, you can use a black band, a black wire, or where did I put that now? Got so many supplies here. This is a black packaging twist tie, which will probably turn up a little bit later. At any rate, those are your components, and I think we're almost ready to start. I can also show you how to make the necklace. I'm using bugle beads. You can do clear or white. They look like this. And a little seed bead on the bottom, and this goes onto a black thread. You're going to want some C-clips, a holding hook, some scissors, and your loom in the offset configuration. Now I think I got it all covered, except for that missing twist tie that's going to bother me soon. Alright, anyways, let's get started on the arms next, or first. So the first thing you're going to do with your skin tone bands is we're going to be making the hand. Now, if this looks really complicated, you're struggling, what you can do for the hand is just take a single, wrap it on, and pull it onto a few sets of doubles. I've kind of made it larger, longer, more expressive, so I'm going to show you how to make it nice and thick. If you want it really easy, I'll show you really easy first. Wrap one and pull it onto a couple of sets of two, like two bands. Pull it on and just do it to the length that you like. The rest of us, we're going to do it the tricky way. We're going to take two bands, skin tone, twist them onto the hook 1, 2, 3 times, and pull it onto two bands. I'm actually doing this kind of backwards, but we'll fix that in a minute. It's okay. Take a single band, put it over the top of your hook, go twist, twist, twist. Replace your other end, and we're going to put this all onto two more skin tone bands. And now here I'm going to ask you to put this on the holding hook, or you can just put it on the side or hold it, get it out of the way for a minute. We're going to do the thumb, which is also optional, so you can skip this part if you want to. I'll show you one more time what it looks like here. And for the thumb, what we do is we take a single, we wrap it 1, 2, 3, 4 times till it's sort of tight. We're going to take another single, stretch it, double it over. I should show you how to do that because we're going to be doing a lot of doubling. So you stretch it out, twist it, bring one half on top of the other half, and then you hold that together and we slide it through. And now what we're going to be doing is, like I said, I did this kind of backwards, but I'm just going to take my first set here and pull all of the loops over my newly added finger set so that it's going to sit on the right side. When you make your other hand, you can always do the finger first. It'll save you this one little step. Or another way is to take the first piece off altogether and then pop it back on this side. So now I'm going to take off the loop of the hand piece that's closer to the edge. I'm going to slide the finger over the top of the right side, the right loop. Just make sure we have all the correct pieces here. And you can tell when you have two loops showing on your hook and the pieces are sliding nicely back and forth. Now, before I replace this, I'm going to take one more single, wrap it over the top 1, 2, 3 times. If you're having difficulty with this part, you can also put your bands back on, wrap the band, and then slide it over. So you can do it like this instead if you want to just press this inside. And this is going to go onto a single doubled over band. Put it on the end, slide it over. You can move it a couple pieces at a time if it's easier for you. And we're going to put this onto one more doubled over single band. And now you're gonna switch to the purple that you're using for your outer coat and your legs, whichever purple that may be. And we're gonna take 10 singles and one after the other, double them over and slide the bands from the hook onto those. So this is 1, we're gonna go 10 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. If you're struggling with this or you want to just do it a different way, you can always lay your bands down on the loom, doubled over, starting at the top of the row and coming down and loop upwards 10 times, popping the hand on the bottom. So I'm going to ask you to pause this and make your other arm. When you're done, these can go onto a holding hook on the side. You can actually leave them on your first hook, but I'm going to move it so that it's going to be easier for you to see what I'm doing and it'll be all out of the way. Once you have your 2 arms, we can make the legs. And you can see they're already kind of floppy, which is why I put my wire in. So for your leg, it's a little bit similar. We're going to start with 2 of our purple bands. Oh, sorry, 1 of our purple bands, and wrap it 1, 2, 3 times. And pull that onto 2 more of our purple pants colored bands. And from here we're going to switch to white, and we're going to do 2 sets of double white bands. So we're pulling it onto 2 bands and then another 2 bands, all white here. And now we want 2 single doubled over white bands. So 1 doubled over, we're going to pop over what's on our hook, the bands on our hook, and we're going to repeat that one more time with another doubled over single white. Now I wanted the cuffs of Dr. Facilier's pants to be just a tiny bit broader, so I'm using 2 sets of double purple bands, pants colored bands right at the bottom, and then we're going to switch to doubled over bands again. And this time we're going to go on to 12 doubled over singles. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'm going to put this onto my holding hook, and I'm going to ask you to pause again to make the other leg, please. And while you're doing that, I'm going to move my loom up here to the center. Make sure we're in camera. I've got a lot of nice sunlight here today, but I do want to make sure you can see this all. And we're going to start at the top with double skin tone bands coming from the top center to the second peg down in the center. And we'll come down with skin tone bands one more time down the middle, once to the right. So this is going to be on the center second peg, and on the right center, sorry, the right second peg. And we move it down again to the left. And now we're switching to the lighter purple if you want a different color to show in the center here. And I've got the jelly band purple here. I'm going to come down 3 times in the center with double purple bands, starting at the third peg down. And on either side, 2 sets of double purple bands, starting at the second peg down, second pegs down. Now on either side, because the jacket is going to kind of come in a little bit, so we want the darker pink jacket color. It's going to be sort of covered anyway, but I think it's good for blendy purposes. Now from here we switch to skin tone. We're going to come down 3 times on each of our rows. This just kind of tightens things up a little bit more here. You can make it even skinnier if you want to bring it down to 2 rows here, but then it's going to be a little harder to attach the legs later. Then we switch to red for the cummerbund. If you want to use a different kind of pink or purple, you can. Or you can extend the legs longer. I know that some of you won't have the same colors as I do, or enough bands of given colors, and that's okay. You gotta improvise sometimes. We're doing 2 sets on each row of doubled over single reds. And then we're going to come down 1 more time on each of those rows. We're just using sets of doubled over purplies, doubled over purple. Or actually, maybe we're just going to use double. We don't need to make these ones tighter. So take 2 bands of purple, bring it down on each row. To attach the legs, I've already done this here, you're going to take the doubled over loop that's on your hook, pull it onto double bands. I'll show you how this works here. So this is what you have. You're going to put it onto double bands of your pants color and bring that across from the last peg that you used on the bottom. It's the 3rd one up on the left, the 2nd one up in the middle. You're just going to pop it on. You want to do the same thing for the other leg. You're going to take a single band and make a cap band on the second peg up in the middle where we finished all of this. You don't want it too tight because we're going to have a lot of bands to look through here. So I'm going to wrap it 3 or 4 times. You do what's comfortable for you there. Your arms can go onto the second pegs down on either side. And I know it's a different color from what you see here. We are going to be adding an extension while it's on the loom, and we're going to extend it a little further off the loom. So don't worry about that. It is going to match. All right, let's start laying down some holding bands for our first layer here. We're going to take a single purple and bring it across the 3 bands. The 3 pegs, the third 3 pegs down on your loom. I believe for the rest of our holding bands, we're going to be making these next ones kind of tight. So the next one is loose again, that's okay. And the one after that is going to be our outer coat colored purple. It's going to match the outside piece on your loom here, and we're doubling it over. Under that we have doubled over single skin tones, and they're going to go down 3 times. So here's 1 time, 2 times, and 3 times. And we switch to red. 1. And it's hard for me to see. I've taken a picture to show me how I did this, but the colors are so close together. I think our next 2 are going to be purple. That'll be a little bit easier. These are going to be the color of the pants. It'll have a better match with the outside. So just a really quick review here. Single purple inner shirt color, single purple inner shirt color, doubled over single outer coat color, 3 skin tones doubled over red, and twice we're going to double over singles of our pants color. Now we're ready to lay on the extension for the upper body. And for this we're going to use our outer coat color. You're going to take 2 bands and lay it from the second peg in the center to the second peg down on the left. So it's going to go on top of the bands that are there and on top of the arm. You're going to come down 3 times with double bands of that color. You might have to push it down just a little bit. And we are going to be doing the exact same thing for the opposite side. Okay. So same thing, start at the second peg down in the center, come down once to the right, and come down 3 times over that right side, 3 pegs down, or 3 steps down, and 3. And we're ready to place holding bands on top. These are all going to be the coat color. I'm just using singles here, not doubling them over. If you want it tighter, you can. Let me have one more check at my notes and pictures, and we are ready to loop this part up. So you're going to go to the bottom of your loom, and this is a tricky part. Push your legs out to the side. You're going to go under the cap band, and I'm going to make this a little easier by first stretching my legs further to the side so I can see which one is on top. And I can see that the one coming from the right is higher up. So you can hold on to those bands, or I'm even going to put it over the peg below because I know that these are the ones I want to get. So now when I go under the cap band with my open part of my hook pointed up, I can latch on to those bands. Once I've got them, I can take it off of that lower peg, and it'll make it easier for me to pull it to the side. And I'm going to loop up once in the side to secure it in. To do that, you push back everything but the bottom 2 bands, scoop them up, and bring them forward. Now our next bands should be easier to get. They're the ones coming from the left, so we're going to grab those, bring them up into the left, secure it in, bottom 2, up and over. Now we go in again and we grab the 2 on the bottom remaining on that center peg, And I'm going to loop up the center and stop at the third peg from the top. So we'll just get this all in place first, and then we can do the sides. I also like to do the easy parts first, you know. Okay, I'm going to stop where it meets the skin tone because I do want the skin tone to be showing on top. So now I'll go back to the side. I'm counting up 4 pegs from the bottom of the loom. Now I'm going to reach inside, get my doubled over red and bring it forward, push back the holding band and repeat. And I'm going to do this until I'm at the end of the skin tone section. Now from here, this is a little tricky because you don't want your bands to slip off. So you can put your thumb on top if it helps, and you're going to push back the triangle band that's on top, and you're going to get, you can see there are 2 layers of these coat colored bands, and there's skin tone in between. You want the 2 that are just above the skin tone. So you're going to reach in just far enough and push back just enough bands that you can get those 2 while holding onto the top. This is one of the hard parts. And then bring that forward, and we're going to do it again. You can pull it out to the side if it's easier. You want to be really careful not to pull off any other bands in the process. And when you get to the top here, you're going to get the top 2, and they're going to come back up and over and back. See, I can't tell where these are. I'm going to have to give it a little twist around the side. That should make it a little bit easier to spot, I hope. Okay. Now this is also a hard part because you really want to hold on to the band on the second peg down in the center, and you're going to take the top pink bands off, but keep your arm on. You're going to go to the next one, bring all of that top layer back over. You can stop when you get back to the skin tone. I'm going to loop up on the other side, and then we'll finish the sides both off. Uh-oh, see? I almost made a mistake there. All the more reason to take things slow. Okay. Now the other side, we're going all the way back to the bottom. We can't just start looping at the jacket area. So you're going down for that purple, the reds, your 3 skin tone, and then we can loop up the coat, the outer part of the coat. Now this should work. I could tell when I got there I was starting to do it and I didn't feel any resistance, and sometimes you just get the feel for that. You know when there should be a little bit of tension around it. Once more, I'm going to pop the newly looped section over. Try and keep the holding bands where they are. And now the last part of the body here is to go back to that 5th peg down on the side where the skin tone ended or started. Reach in it and get your bottom 2 bands, and now we're looping forward bottom 2 bands only, so you're looking for your lighter or inner coat color. And you can reach in again to get the skin tone at the bottom, the 2nd peg down on the side, 2 bands, bring them forward and inwards. And I'm actually, because I don't want too much skin to show up on top here, and this part's not totally necessary because you can see the coat kind of covers it, but I'm still gonna switch around my skin tone with my coat color so it blends. So I'm moving this just to the side, or you can hold on to it. And I'm gonna remove the purples. I'm going to put the skin tone under. Like I said, you don't have to do this. It's not going to show a lot, but I think it makes a little bit of a difference. And we're going to do the same thing looping up on the right side. I'm bringing the skin tones to the center, and then I'll put the outer coat on the outside. This part probably doesn't matter. I'm just being a bit perfectionist-y. Go down to the third peg down in the center and loop up your skin tone 2 times. The second one is going to be under all of those bands. Now carefully remove this from the loom, but don't lose the bands on your top center peg. You can put them onto a holding hook right now, or you can put it on a C-clip, or just grab it while you remove the rest. Now the good news is we're done a lot of our doubled over band tight looping. The less good news is that we still have a lot of off loom work to do when we're finished the face and the hat. But this is, I'd say we're at least a third of the way through. So this is good. And really some of the other parts are not so complicated, it's just takes a little while to go through them. There might be a little bit of trial and error. So you can see the legs are kind of floppy. You can leave them floppy, that's fine. If you like one side over the other, you can kind of switch it around. I kind of like this side better, actually. I'm going to turn this backwards. And you're going to just put this on the side for the time being. Okay. So we're going to come back to the loom. We're going to make our hat next, and the hat and the head are going to go together. Let's start at the top center peg, and we're coming down to the right with double black bands, coming down to the left with double black bands, and on each row we will come down 1, 2, 3, 4 times. It's a little disappointing. I just got a whole bunch of new bands here and they keep breaking on me. They should be quality bands. Maybe I just got a bad bag here. Or maybe I've overstretched some of them. That's possible too. Happens sometimes when I'm experimenting with the design. In spite of all caution, this sometimes gets a little stretchy. We are going to switch to red, and I'm coming down twice on each row with red. This is to match the little cummerbund waistband. And one set of black on each row for the bottom rim of the hat, and we're gonna make a little extension later to make the sides longer. And we're gonna switch to skin tone right away. I'm gonna come down 3 times in the center with double skin tone bands. We're starting at the 8th peg down. And on either side, I'm going to go down 4 times with double skin tone bands. Now in the center, and this looks really messy, but you can do it, don't panic. You're going to take your body and the loops that are on your hook, and you're going to put them onto that 3rd peg up in the center where you finish your skin tone. And then we're going to kind of squish it out of the way. So what I'll do because we want this to be attached but at the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch it down, and I'm going to take some of the bands and just press them. I'm just literally just pressing it down onto the pegs that are there. we're going to try to squeeze the arms out of the way. I'm going to do the same thing on the lower body. I'm going to squish it over a peg. It will all stretch back into shape, don't worry. But right now we want to get it out of the way. So we've placed bands up to here. And now we stuck the body on and we've just pushed it down and squished it in. And we're going to be looping on top of that. Alright, so the last part of our loom work, we're going to put the rest of our face together and put in our detail work. We come down 2 more times on the center. So place 2 skin tone bands on top of the neck piece. And you'll have to push it down a little bit. And 2 more bands coming down to that last peg on the center. We want 2 bands to come in from either side. Second peg up from the bottom on either side to meet in the middle. Okay, let's put a cap band on the bottom center peg. 1, 2, 3. The tighter you do it, the sharper the bottom, like the sharper chain you'll get. And you can always tuck it in, pull it to the back if it's bothering you as well, like after the fact. Let's do our eyes next. If you're using bands or beads with a smaller hole, you can put them directly onto your hook, and banded eyes require about 3 wraps of each band. If you're using beads with a smaller hole, we're going to put the beads onto a thin wire or piece of dental floss. Pop them onto a skin tone band and bring the floss back over and back through from the opposite direction. This is something that takes a little bit of practice, but once you get it, it gets a little easier each time. And then we're just going to slide it. And this piece with the eyes, or with your bands on it, it's going to go onto the last piece that has black on it where the skin tone starts. This is your 8th peg down on either side. And we're going to separate the eyes and bring the band that they're on to sit for half of it, one section of it to sit on the peg below. Okay. And you don't have to draw your pupils on right now. I just have one with that already set. For our nose, the nose is optional. You don't have to have this nose, but I think it's kind of cute. We're going to take a single, wrap it 1, 2, 3 times, and put it onto a doubled over single. And this is going to go onto another doubled over single, because we want the face, we don't want the face to be too loose, and we don't want anything sticking out after. He's such a gaunt character, everything about him is kind of thin. And this one, okay, don't replace the other end yet. This is going to go onto the pegs below the pegs that the eye is on. And it is a little bit tight, but that's good. We want it to be. Okay, we just need our holding bands, and we will add the extension for the hat on when we get to it. Now for our triangle bands, we're going to start at the very top of the loom here. The first one's going to be a single black stretched across, repeat underneath, and then we have doubled over bands, so 1 doubled over black band. We're back to red, so we have 2 doubled over reds. Actually, we can do 3. I think we'll do 3. So the third one is going to sit where the black starts. And then, honestly, I can't remember which color I used here. Let's double check that. I think we're going to use black. Yeah, a doubled over black band now. Oh, this is going to be a single black band. We're okay with it a little bit looser here. But this part's kind of optional. You can double this or leave it straight. Either should be okay. Yep. I think I might want to put this under the eyes though, just so the black doesn't obscure it. So I'm gonna pop my eyes on top. Or you can reach through, grab the black and pull that over your peg as well. Okay, I think that'll be just a tiny bit cleaner. Now our next 4 are gonna be doubled over skin tone bands. So now if you're counting up from the bottom of the loom, we're looking at the 3rd pegs up from the bottom, and the last set will be on the 2nd pegs up from the bottom of the loom. Okay, we are ready to start looping. The only other thing we'll have to stop and do is add our extensions here, and I think we'll get that ready now. So let's take a, no, I'll do it after just so you can see what I'm doing with my hook. So we have, it's kind of messy here at the bottom, but what you're looking for is the top 2 side bands from the left. I'm going to pull it up to the side to see it. You don't want to lose your top cap band, but you want to reach underneath. Get those next top 2 and bring them over to the side. And this is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but with each set you do, it's going to be a little easier to see and to reach for that matter. I don't think that was the right one. Let me pull that out to the side one more time to check. Now if you get ahead of me here, it's okay, just jump ahead in the video. I'll catch up soon. If you need a little more time, you can certainly pause the video and catch up. Okay, we're going for the next 2 bands. They're coming from the left side, or sorry, the right side. So you want to reach in again under that cap band. Just trying to make sure that those single 2 straights stay on the bottom. I'm pulling them out because they keep getting in my way here. Now I should be able to reach for these ones. Okay, there's one. And almost have it. And there we go. 2. Go back in for those bottom 2. And really, I swear I'm not trying to block your field of vision here. This is hard to do without my fingers in the way in this part. Hope you can see it well enough. We've looped up to one side to the other and upwards. Now I'm going to loop up the side, and I'm going to loop up until the black. I'm going to do the same on the right side. So we're going for the easy parts first. Get this all secured. Now in the middle, we're going to go under that 3rd peg up from the bottom of the loom. And you're going to find the top 2 skin tone, bring them forward, go inside again, and loop your bottom 2 skin tones forward. Loop up again, try and get the nose kind of in the middle if you can. It'll save you popping it out later. Push back the band holding the eyes and loop up. You can actually loop up now to the very top of the loom in the center row. And then we'll add on our little side cap extensions. Now I didn't make a feather for this, but I'll try to remember to show you one way that you can after. Alright, black bands. Take a single, wrap it 1, 2, 3 times. Put it onto a doubled over single. Put that on top of your skin tone bands on your 8th peg down on the side. Now we're going to loop it in, secure it in, bottom 2 black bands, loop to the top of the loom. See, that part wasn't so bad at least. And loop inwards from the top side peg to the top center peg. Let's make another little piece for the top or the right side. Wrap your single tight as you like, at least 3 or 4 times. Put it onto a doubled over single. This goes onto 8th peg down on the side where your skin tone began. We're just going to loop it into place and loop all the way up. Let's try and stay inside the holding bands wherever you may be. And again to the center, take a single black band. You're going to put your hook through the top center peg, all the bands there. Keep the open part pointed away from you. Grab your loose band. You can use 2 if you want to be extra secure. Pull it up and through, and as you're coming up, you can twist it so that the open part faces up. Put the other end on and bring the far side over the near side to create a slip knot. And this can go onto a C-clip or your hook. We're going to take this off the loom and then we'll start on the detail work. Oh, and as I always mention, if you see any loose bands as you're going, this is a good time to try and grab them and put them on a C-clip. Get it on your hook. You can try and secure it before things start unraveling, because it's always a disappointment to come this far and then have things come apart. And you're just going to take your body off. If you have any loose bands, as I said, just secure them or weave them in, and we'll tidy this up in just a second here. Pop your eyes through. Okay, so next thing you're going to do, pop your eyes through. Take your and you can put the pupils on now if you want. You're going to take your securing band from the top, and we're going to go around to the back, put your hook under some nearby bands, pull this securing band through, and pop it onto a C-clip. And I'm just going to leave this C-clip kind of loose and floppy for the moment, because we might be using it for something else soon if we do when I show you the skull and crossbones. Maybe we'll do that now actually. Now if you want to, this is totally optional. If you have a nice bead or bands that look like a skull already, that's great. If you want to use one of these larger band beads as I did, you're going to get it onto a black band the same way, using the same method we use for the eyes. So put a thin wire through. You can also use a needle and thread for this if you want. Run it through a black band and return it through the bead. This is kind of a hard one for me, but let's see if we can get it. We want this kind of in the middle. And then what you're going to do is take your hook, go through the back of the head, the hat, wherever you'd like it to sit. Grab that bead piece, pull it through to the back, and you can secure this on the C-clip or a new C-clip, or put another band through. Just for now, for this moment, I'm going to put it on the C-clip so you can see what I do with the other half here. But normally I would probably just hold on to it on that hook. Now the other one, you're going to reach through on the opposite side from the back. You can turn it to whatever angle helps. Grab your other side of the band, pull it through again, and once more you can put this on a C-clip or you can weave it in. You can even knot the bands together if you want, but you can get bands breaking that way. You can press it through, fit it in closer, whatever you'd like, and you can draw on your 2 circles and some little lines for the teeth. Yes, I know this looks a little messy. We'll clean that up in a minute. I'm just trying to kind of cover everything here at once. Now, if you have white beads and you want to do the same method, you can put your white beads across here. I'm just going to show you using bands. We're going to put the hook through, take a white band, pull it partway to the back, And again, you can put it on a C-clip or just hold on to it for now. I'm going to hold on to it for the moment. I'm going to reach through higher up and further to the left and pull that back through. Now I'm just going to put this onto another white band. This is at the back. And I can put this all on the same C-clip that I've already used, or grab another C-clip. And just for the sake of demonstration here, I'm going to just put it on another C-clip, and this way we can move on to the next part faster. For our other white piece, I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to reach in just under the bead on the right side, bring that band through, C-clip it, or put it on another band, come down closer to the red band. And this is one of those parts that might take a couple of tries. Get your other side of your white band, pull it through. This is the back side you're looking at here. And I'm just gonna try and get this all kind of clumped together on the same C-clip. You can weave the pieces together to make it a little neater. Okay, let's tidy up the face because this is starting to bother me. You can see some of my bands are a little stretched out, and I also have sort of a floppy neck here. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to reach through the body on the side, take my loose bands and pull them back through. And I can do the same on the other side, and I'll put these on a C-clip. And just to show you, if you don't want to do it that way, or if you want to just secure it by the chin, you can reach through the body, pull the chin piece through, like your cap band. So you can take some of these bands all together, or just a couple of them, or with another band attached, and pull those to the back, and that'll keep your head firmer in place. Now these bands, I am going to tuck them in. I'm just going to weave them together here actually. So I'll reach through some, pull the others through. Not sure why that came out so loose, but it's okay. I'm just gonna tuck that in, put it on a C-clip. We should be okay. You want to try to keep this straight, whatever you're pulling. You don't want to tilt the head too much, which is what I'm kind of doing here. At any rate, that's how you tuck those in. You want to find your nose and bring it through to the center so it's coming through just under your eyes, and you can do that with your fingers or the hook. I'll show you the mustache really quick because that's an easy one. If you're using the wire, give me 2 seconds, I'll grab another one. You're literally just, or twist tie, you're literally just going to grab it, poke it under the bands that are just under the nose, and then you can kind of shape it. You can use pliers if you want to, and you trim it to your desired length. If you're using a band, you can take a whole or a broken band, lift up the bands under the nose, and pull your band through, and then you're just going to cut it on either side, again to the desired length. Oh, that's kind of cute with the really long piece. For the inner coat part, we're going to stitch that in now. This is a little tricky, but bear with me. We're going to start right at the edge. You're going to go through the side where you have a couple of skin tone and a pink. You're going to take a single black, double it over, put it on your hook, and pull it through those side pieces. And we're just going to do a chain like this. And I think I did about 6 or 8, but you do it to the length, the desired length. So I'm doubling one over, I'm pulling it through that, putting it back on. And what we're going to do is make a chain and then attach it at the top. This is a tiny bit easier than stitching it in, but if it is loose, it can be connected a little more tightly after, and I'll show you that too if need be. So this is the 4th one that I'm adding to the original piece. The 5th one, the 6th one. You can make this as big and as bulky as you want. It's really up to you. And when it is at the desired length, we're going to take a single black, pull it through the bands on the hook. You can double it over if you want. And I'm going to pull one end through the other. I'll take that off the hook for a minute. Now I'm going to reach through from the back through the top pink on the side here. Take that black, pull it through, and we'll secure this in the back on the C-clip. Okay, so if you aren't happy with the length or you feel it's flopping about too much, you can go through on the side, grab a band, go through one of the black pieces, take another black band, slide it through everything. I'm not trying to overcomplicate, I'm just trying to show you the options here. Put the other one back on, slide it through, and slide it to the back, and that will hold it in place better. So you will want to do this on both sides. I'm just going to show you, like I said, just for the one side here. Let me put this on a C-clip so you can see how it goes. That's what I get for not securing in the first place. I'm trying to come loose a little thing here. I want to show you how to do the outer pink part, how to make this a little bit thicker. So you're going to get your coat colors, you're going to reach to the side, you take out the securing black, and you're going to go, you can see there are 3 sets of loops coming through each other. So you're going to go to the second one up or the third one up, wherever you want the thickness to start. You're going to reach in and get 2 pieces out of each loop, trying to get them more towards the center. Pull 2 pink bands through those. Go through the next little bit of chain, put the other end on, put another 2 pink bands through. This is just going to give him shoulder width. And you can do this as many times as you want until it's at the desired height. I'm going to go through one more time. And when it is as high up as you want it to be, you could just take 1 or 2 bands, pull it through everything on your hook carefully, put one end over the other, and secure this at the back as well. Let me tighten up this piece on the C-clip. And we'll tighten this all up, hang on. So this here is that black piece that we wove through using that chain. I'm just going to make that nice and tight, and then I can secure the pink as well. This is the back that you're looking at here. To make it a little tighter, I'm going to pull it through some nearby bands and then pop it on the C-clip again. And if you find it's really loose or really tight, you can adjust the number of doubled over bands you have in that chain. You might have used 1 too many or 1 too few. Okay, so that's how to make the shoulders thicker. That's how to do the black jacket. You've got the mustache, the eyes, the hat. And I think the only other thing that I wanted to show you was the basic idea of how to do this neck lace piece for the teeth. And if you have something that works better, go for it. Maybe I'll give you a pointer on the legs as well. But let me show you for the necklace part. What you're going to do is take some thread. I'll suggest black with a needle, a beading needle. If you don't have this, you can always use a thin wire, dental floss, something else. You're going to put it through a long bead or a bugle bead. You're going to put it through a small seed bead. I'm using a green so it's easier to see. Now what you do, and you really only need your thread to come through once. I have them doubled over here. So I've put on a bugle bead and a seed bead. I'm going to bring my needle and thread back up through the bugle bead. And what this does is it holds everything in place, and it keeps the bugle bead straight down, and it's also going to keep things from coming off. Now you don't want to pull it too tight, but you should be able to move it around a little bit to adjust where it goes. And you're going to do this 2 times, and then you'll take your piece, wrap it around the back of the neck, and tie it in a knot at the back. And you can put some clear nail polish on if you want to make it extra secure. Okay, I was going to tell you about the back of the legs for the wire. If you want to make it a little extra strong, you can straighten out a paper clip or use a piece of strong wire. You're going to start at the middle back, and I'll just show you using this. What you do is you're going to go under one piece, and I'll show you on this one. He's not done yet. So you'll sort of start towards the middle of the lower back, and you're going to go under a couple of bands. And as you're coming down, you see in each of these sets, you have an outer band and an inner band. And you want to go under the inner band, and you want to go under the inner band of the same side each time. So, let's try and get this into place so you can see it. So on the next set, or one or two sets later, I'm going to try and find that same inner band. So the inner band on the left, I'm going to go through it again. And you basically weave your way all the way down to the bottom. When you get there, you can twist the bottom part up and press it in. And you can do the same in the top section. And then you can make adjustments as you like. Or you can always just leave the legs floppy, that's fine too. Okay, so... oh, and I was going to give you one idea for a feather. I didn't make a feather. But if you want, you can take your bands and just do a straight single chain. So wrap one, put it onto a doubled over band, and do it to the length that you desire. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go through, let's do one more here. And I'm going to take this off of the hook, put it on my hand. I'm going to reach through sort of on the side where I want the feather piece to go. Take one side, pull it through to the back, take the other side, put one side over the other, and you can secure this wherever you want your feather to be. Now if you want to take a real feather and kind of glue it in, you can do that. If you have a wire, a colored piece of pipe cleaner, you have a lot of options here of things you can do. This is a good way to do it by band though. Alright, so I hope you liked it. This was a video by request. And I thank you for watching. Please check out some of my other tutorials.